What's up, Internet? This is Rambling Josh, and you're watching another episode of Let's Play Quest 64. Today we make our way through the desert, and as I kind of mentioned last time around, this is a very long kind of process just to get through the desert. There's lots of perilous enemies, not that they're any different from the rest of the enemies anywhere else on the map, but the enemies in this area are kind of tricky, so it takes quite a while to get through the desert, and considering you're basically walking in a perfectly straight line the entire time, it's not the most entertaining journey ever. So I figured I would speed the process up a little bit by going at a quicker speed and all that. There's also, in the very middle of the desert, there's also a spirit, but I personally don't care too much about going after that particular spirit, just because, as I mentioned, the desert is very, very big. So, even if you think you're going perfectly straight or what have you, there's a good chance that you're going to miss it, and finding your way through the desert is just unpleasant enough that I would rather just get through the place than look around where I think the spirit is. It's exactly in the middle of the desert, so if you care about finding it, then that's where you have to look. So why exactly are we going through all this, you might ask? Well, I mean, there are good reasons. Namely, there is something specific that we are looking for that is on the other side of the desert. And for what it's worth, I mean, you can get some good stat ups and whatnot from fighting out here. And you can see that I made a point of fighting some battles here and there, but for the most part, I'm mostly just concerned about getting through. And here we have made it to the other side. There's a little teleporter here that takes us to the next area, and this place is basically a giant treasure trove. There's a ton of spirits in this place, and there's a whole bunch of treasure too. So at this point, just kind of looking around for spirits. What am I at right now? I think I'm at 5 spirits, so we'll see how many I have by the time I'm done here. I can't really remember exactly where every spirit is in this place, so I'm making sure to cover all the ground. I didn't check around the entire loop on the bottom area there, but I will check that later. So here we come on to the inside. We have a whole bunch of chests here. Most of the items are just kind of throwaways. Some of them might come in handy. I mean, there's a healing potion there, but the rest of them, nothing to really worry about. I mean, well, there's a dragon's potion, that's pretty good. At this point in the game, items aren't particularly useful though. MP items are handy, but aside from that, there's a good chance that by this point in the game, you've stored up enough MP items to get you through anyways. So it doesn't make all that big of a difference. Can I go down there? I guess not. So look around the final loop up here. We're up to 10 fire spirits now. Is there anything on this side? There is not. So if we come in here, we got a whole bunch more spirits. And we have a gold amulet, which I think is the only gold amulet in the entire game. And this fellow Lavar is kind of interesting, so I have returned to normal speed temporarily to allow you to read what he has to say. Basically just kind of outlining what the heck this entire game is all about. Which may or may not interest you. That's a bit of a sad tale. And so with that, we've pretty much explored this entire place. We're just going to return to the bottom here. And check out the bottom loop once again. Well, actually check out the whole thing. And once we are done with that, we are just going to, through the magic of video editing, cut back to the main tent in the main area of the desert here, where I was in the last episode. And we finished this place with 15 fire spirits, so I think it was very worthwhile. So, I've made it back up here to the northern area. I came all the way back to this little house here where we can save. I just figured it was a good landmark, and now we're ready to move on to the other stuff. You know, on with the game! Onwards towards the end and the next area we have to go to and whatever. For the most part, I am trying to fight as many battles as I can, rather than just run away from everything, because enemies are pretty annoying at this point in the game. But I want to be ready for all the fights coming up, because we are getting towards the end of the game, and I'm completely disoriented right now. Okay, here we go. This is the way we want to go. There are some pretty tricky fights coming up, so I want to be ready for those. Here we have some new enemies that I think I should be able to handle. Just trying to think the best way to handle them. Stupid frickin' camera. No! Stop! Stop rotating to the left! I want to aim. That should hopefully do it. These guys aren't too threatening if you attack them from a distance. So walking water is a pretty good method to deal with them. It can be a little tricky to aim it, but yeah. They use this magma rock attack that like shoots out I think there's 4 rocks. And if you're standing like right up close to them, you can get hit by multiple rocks, which can do like over 100 damage. So that's something to be wary about. Other than that, they're not too hard. They don't have a whole lot of health, and oh shit, I just did magic barrier twice in a row instead of doing avalanche. And individual rocks don't do a whole lot of damage. So yeah. Although I did end up using pretty much all of my MP just because there were 5 of them. But you know, whatever. Now, there is a spirit around here somewhere. I believe it's up here to the north. There it is. So as far as stats go, I'm doing pretty good so far. I've mentioned in the past, but at this point, my MP is basically the biggest thing that matters. Obviously, it's not like nothing else matters. Like in particular, agility is pretty important, but there's not really a whole lot we can do about actively increasing our agility. But MP we can definitely increase. Come in these little ruins here. We got a chest that contains a useless replica. And here we have a town, which is not much of a town anymore. Kinda got destroyed. This guy wants to give me a healing potion, but I thought the sign outside was the sign for the place that gives you wings. Whatever. There is a little tavern or inn or hotel or whatever you want to call it here if you want to rest up. You can talk to Shannon. Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting, I guess. But I don't really care. So anyways, this isn't really a proper town. Like, you can still get in battles in this area and all that, but there's a couple buildings here, obviously. But tomorrow we head on towards the boil hole. So with that, I will catch you later.